Good morning. How's it going? I'm Ben.
I'm Jeff.
How are you doing today?
I guess I'm doing okay. I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Glad to see you found your way here. All that construction going on. This area's a mess, man. I swear. I would probably get lost going here at least once a week. No joke, man.
It was tough, but I managed.
Well, I'm glad you survived the journey. So I'm glad to have you here. So I'm going to start out pretty quickly here, and I get excited sometimes when I get a new person in the office, so I tend to talk a little fast. So if I'm talking too fast, just wave me down, throw something at me, send up a smoke signal, something to let me know, hey Ben, chill out, slow down. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect. Well, I guess first off, you're here because you've reported feeling depressed recently. Is that correct?
Well, that's what the psychiatrist said.
Okay, and you were hoping to, along with Alexa probably prescribed you to try some therapy to make me feel a little better?
That's the plan.
Alright, and that's a good one. So I guess I'll start off with a kind of bold question, if you will. What do you think of all this?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you think about me, my role as a therapist, being in therapy? It's ultimately, what do you expect when it's all said and done to get out of this?
Well, I guess I never really thought about that. I guess I was hoping you'd cure me while I was in therapy and I could deal with life without my wife better.
Your wife?
Yeah, she filed for divorce about a month ago. It just totally blindsided me, and I haven't really felt the same since.
And understandably so, man. That's a big event in someone's life. And it's okay to have these feelings about something like that so big. Believe it or not, you're not the first guy this to happen to. And all that I've worked with have managed to kind of bounce back. So I've got faith in the world that you will too. So, but before we go any further into that, I want to address something you kind of said earlier. I kind of picked up on something. You said that I hoped I'd cure you with this before therapy was over. Well, I try to look at this process more like we're partners. Partners in science, if you will.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm a cognitive behavioral-based therapist, and really my main goal is how your thoughts and beliefs about yourself and the world impact the way you feel and the way you act. So when I say you and I are partners in science, basically what I mean is that we're going to work together to work some things out, your beliefs, your thoughts, and see if they're actually true.
Okay.
So in doing so, I want to know how you feel on a day-to-day basis this past month.
Well, to be honest with you, hopeless. I feel like I'm worthless without my wife. That my life just kind of is on a winding down from here.
Oh man, I see this feeling of worthlessness, and that's common with major depressive disorder or MDD. They feel like there isn't a light at the end of the tunnel and that there's no hope for them.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Okay, well that's actually the very thing, and I'm glad we were in accordance with this. But that's actually the very thing we're going to go test out, if that's okay with you.
I'd love not to feel this way.
Perfect. I think it's a great feeling and thought to focus on for therapy. So, to show you what I mean, where I say all your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions are intertwined, if you could do me a favor and tell me the story of your favorite birthday gift. Your favorite birthday gift.
That's a hard one. Well, I guess, I guess it'd have to be the time my dad bought me my first car when I turned 16.
Okay, we'll go on. What kind of car was it? How did he surprise you? And all that kind of good stuff that went with that.
Well, it was a Mustang, a 74.
Man, I love those things.
And it was a great car. And one day I came out of school and he was there waiting to pick me up, as he always was. But this time he was in this new, different car. And, he'd been talking about getting a new car for him and how this was going to, blah, blah, blah. And then I approached the passenger side and he yelled at me and said, hey, ho, hold on. This one's yours. Get over here and get in your seat. And I was like, what? And I was confused for a second. Then I asked him what he meant. And he said, well, this is your car. I picked it up. He had picked it up earlier that day.
Man, I bet that was quite the surprise. And to be in front of the school, in front of everyone, I bet you that was something else.
It was really great, man. I mean, I ran that thing into the ground until I wrecked it in college, but it was an awesome car.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about that, but I must say, you looked pretty getting excited while telling me that story. You know, you seemed happy, you seemed smiling, you seemed excited to tell me that story. So
It was a great memory.
okay, well, how did you feel while telling me that story? You looked happy. Did you feel happy while telling me that story?
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess I was happy. I was excited to tell that story.
Exactly. See, while you're thinking about something, you began to feel that way. You see what I'm saying? I bet you didn't even notice when you were feeling that way until I asked you. You know, where you were telling the story and then immediately started becoming excited and becoming happy.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. I mean, I didn't really notice.
Exactly. We have ways to think about these things, and while we're thinking about those things, our emotions are influenced. So imagine, if you were able to change the ways you thought about this divorce, possibly you'd be able to feel better and get out and do things you want to do. Be better, be happier. And we're going to test these out, man. We're going to test out different ways to help you think and find a different way to help you feel better. That's our whole goal for this. Sounds pretty simple, eh?
Yeah, it does.
Well, I must confess, before we conclude session 1 today, I've got a little bit of homework for you. It's not too bad, but I think you'll be able to handle it. Is that okay?
Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, I want you to keep a notebook. Now, it's not a diary. You know, I don't want men, getting you confused with a diary. But let's go with journal, either on paper or your phone. I know those have all sorts of gadgets nowadays. Where you record your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, and behavior, whether good or bad. You know, you can say, hey, man, I had a hell of a day, or I had a hell of a lunch. I saw someone, it was good to talk to, or or something bad. I'm really down in the dumps today. And I want you to do that throughout the day, every day, between now and our next session. And then you bring in next session and we can go over it. You think you can do that for me?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. Well, I'll see you next week and we'll go from there. Alright, session 2. In this session, step 3, behavioral activation, we will kind of experiment and have the client do different behaviors to kind of get out and get doing positive reinforcers so that he can improve his functioning on a positive note. Okay, so good morning. Great to see you again, Jeff. How are things?
Okay, I suppose.
Okay, well, did you bring your homework from the past week?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what do you think about it?
I thought that every day I basically feel like crap and don't do anything but sit on my ass all day.
Well, we can work on that. Lucky for you. Did you have any positive emotions this past week in your notebook?
Exactly 1.
Okay, and when was this exactly 1?
Saturday.
Okay, what made you feel good about Saturday?
Well, I went over to my brother's house and hung out with his family all day.
Okay, that's exciting. What did you guys do?